Ubisoft just revealed Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a completely new game in the Ghost Recon series that will launch on October 4th, 2019, and I could already see and play the game last week in Paris. I could only play it for 15 minutes though, but I did get an extended presentation and was able to interview the developers as well. And I gotta say, I'm even more excited for this game than I expected. I will tell you everything that I learned in this video. Would of course be awesome if you could leave a like because it shows your support, and let's go. At the start of the game, you fly to a completely new world in the middle of the Pacific Ocean called Aurora. You get shot out of the sky because you're not supposed to be here. This is namely a private island owned by Scale Technology, kind of your typical Silicon Valley style tech company of this world. So while the drones and technology were supposed to make the world a better place, they now in this game fell into the wrong hands. The hands of the Wolves, an elite Spec Ops soldier team that has gone rogue under the leadership of Cole D. Walker. Yes, played by none other than John Bernthal, who you can know for example from The Punisher. You can already play a mission in Ghost Recon Wildlands where you encounter him as a ghost just like you, but now in Breakpoint that takes place after Wildlands, he is your enemy, so a pretty cool twist there. So that is your job, to take him out in Aurora. That looks way more diverse than Bolivia in Wildlands. You still got a ton of mountains and the forest, but you also have way more lush environments, snowy mountains, beaches, crazy tropical islands, and a lot of modern buildings as well. This is a private island owned by a tech company after all, with a lot of engineers creating vehicles and drones and whatever this is.
What the fuck is that?
And I really like infiltrating modern buildings and facilities like this, and it looks like Breakpoint will have a ton of them. And yes, there will totally be hostile drones there too, that you totally want to ignore. So that's why I felt that stealth will be even more important in this game, because getting the attention from these drones will really make your mission worse. Like, trust me, during my play session we had one of these tank drones after us and they took us out extremely fast. So yes, explosives like a rocket launcher are smart to use against those. No, but overall there are way more ways to be stealthy in this game, and it seems to be still the key here. You can now pick between one of 4 classes at launch, with more coming post-launch, and you can use them in the single player and co-op portion of the game, so the open world part. And there will also be a PvP mode at launch that they did not really talk about during the presentation, but they only said that your progression is the same between both the open world story modes and the competitive mode. So you take the XP and the rewards you earn in one mode to the other, so have like one shared progression, and that is pretty cool of course. So if you for example like to play a ton of PvP and then go to the single player part, then you will still have a pretty upgraded character. Going back to the classes, that should of course differ in playstyle, have different skill trees with special passive perks that you unlock by doing challenges, although not really more details were given at this point. And they also have different abilities, like the Panther for example that you see in action here is more about stealth, like scouting the area, and it has a smoke bomb as a special ability to confuse the enemies and have a safe escape. Like here she's being attacked by one of those tank drones. Well, now that the drone can't sense her anymore thanks to the smoke bomb, she can easily pick up her teammate and bring him to a safe location and then res him. So yes, that is a new feature, being able to pick up downed teammates to res them. And in Breakpoint you can also pick up the bodies of enemies to put them somewhere where other enemies cannot see them. A neat little feature to help you with stealth. Another cool new stealth feature is the prone camo, so you can melt into the environment and see your character like really grab some mud and put it on his face, while these new wolf enemies just walk by and don't see you. And then you can of course sneak behind them to do a cool stealth attack. You will also be able to do the prone camo in the PvP, so that should make for some awesome situations for sure. Another cool thing that I wish we had in Wildlands, when for example infiltrating the base for the second Operation Oracle mission with Cole D. Walker, is the breaching kit, making you able to cut through fences, so basically create your own way into the area. So that should create way more options to get to your objective. But familiar things return as well, like the sync shot, although it is different this time, because there will be no AI allies when you play the game solo. What you can do though is deploy up to 3 drones and do a sync shot with those drones. So then you can take out up to 4 enemies, including your shot of course, and up to 16 enemies if you play with 3 other friends. Because that is the thing, everyone has the ability to summon drones even in co-op, and you can upgrade the ability to deploy drones by the way as well. So you likely first can just summon 1 drone, and then if you upgrade the ability, you can have more by your side. But they seem to disappear like after a short period as well, likely after you've done the sync shot for example, so they're not like pets following you around. And since you can do them in the co-op and in solo as well, it kinda makes you think that playing solo puts you at a disadvantage, right? But in my interview with Ubisoft, they assured me that this will not be the case. How though was not really explained. They're still working on the balance. Like I asked if you could be revived when playing alone, like maybe by those drones. But they would not share anything about it yet, although they had something special in mind. They have of course time to still figure this out. I still found it interesting though. I'm kind of okay with no AI allies, as the AI wasn't that good in Wildlands for example. But yeah, I'm still curious to see how they will make sure that the game scales properly for one player, because right now playing with friends seems to put you at an advantage for sure. And overall the whole balance and progression system will be interesting for this game, because while you should still be able to go everywhere in the world after crash landing on the island, like you will have your main points on the map where you can go for the main story, but you should be able to immediately explore as well. They did know though that you will probably not be very competitive in the hard regions. Ubisoft noted that there should still be mechanics in this game to help you take out very high level opponents while you are likely low level. They gave an example of being able to one-shot enemies if you are in stealth for example, but it will be interesting to see how the overall progression is. Like I did see some sort of level next to the enemy's name, level 70 for example, something you don't see in the footage that I received from Ubisoft because they seem to play without any UI. And maybe they showed it in the reveal stream that I could not watch before making this video because this is based on the presentation and hands-on session that I had. But I'm totally looking at the live stream and will likely do a follow-up video if they talk more about the sort of RPG elements that are now present in this game. You can now also, for example, pick up loot from enemies like weapons, but also gear pieces with rarities from the looks of it. Like I got a new rare cap, for example, by looting one enemy. Something that you can then likely wear to enhance the stats of your character. Again, I had a really short time to play the game, but this is what I did notice. I could not really look any deeper into it. And I'm really for this. Like, I really like getting new gear and weapons in this game, but again, it's kind of hard to say how the progression will be impacted by this. With some of the drones and the tank enemies, it of course makes sense that you need more damage with your weapons to take them out, and that the enemies will not drop after one bullet, while that still seems to be the case for your regular human enemies for as far as I could see. But I'm just really not sure how the Division they are going with this. One thing that is very interesting to note though is that there are also raids coming to this game post-launch. We see the first one here that looks really cool. So these are 4-man challenges for really high-end players. So again, you likely need really good gear and the best weapons for this, right? Let's take a quick moment to appreciate how awesome this raid looks. The volcano, where you walk like over this bridge. When I received this footage to make this video, I was like looping this over and over because it really looks amazing. But yeah, it's just too soon to say how the progression will be. Like, how much will the gear and your weapons based on rarity like impact your gameplay? What we can say though is that the progression looks to be way deeper and fleshed out compared to Wildlands. I also picked up credits when killing enemies, and that's a currency that will also have a purpose. Although Ubisoft was not able to talk about specifics yet, but you should be able to spend them on things. I did not see the character creator or customization in action, but Ubisoft did tell me that you would have more options than in Wildlands. It's obviously just a reveal for this game right now, with E3 right around the corner and likely being the next moment where we can play the game and learn way more about it. But the things I saw so far got me really interested. And it's really what I kind of wanted from a Wildlands sequel, with way more variety in the world in terms of gameplay thanks to the classes and the new gadgets, different new enemy types, deeper progression systems. And they also wanted to make it feel more realistic, more like a survival game. For example, when you get shot or almost die, you will get an injury and are limping, for example. So then you have to find a safe spot to cure yourself by using medical supplies. Like sure, you could still fight with this injury, but just not as well. Like you walk slower or just aim not as good. I haven't really seen enough of this yet, but it should add more realism to the game, and that's really what they want to go for. You now also have to manage your stamina more and can use buffs before you go on a mission. And I love how the movement has been improved. When you, for example, walk down a mountain, you really see your character having some trouble getting down as you would normally have. I hope they improve the driving in this game compared to Wildlands as well. There should be 30 varieties in terms of vehicles that should be more military themed this time around, since again you are on this private high-tech island taken over by the military. And yeah, the real threat in this game should be the wolves, the special force that has gone rogue, that will go out and hunt you. So likely when things get chaotic while doing an activity in the open world, you will trigger their intervention, but also when doing story missions like the one that you see here, where you have to save this engineer and fight these wolves that are a master at controlling these drones. There will be lieutenants of these wolves, but it's not like Wildlands, where they are a boss of a specific region. So it's kind of unclear how these fights will unfold against the wolves, but they do look awesome and should be challenging to kill for sure. So yes, I'm really excited. This game looks way better than I expected, and I really can't wait to see more and make more videos about it. So totally subscribe for everything Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I will likely have way more videos as we near E3, and then at E3 I will have a ton of new gameplay and info from the show, so totally keep it locked to the channel for everything on Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Let me know what you think of the game, of the reveal, in the comments down below. If you got any questions, then drop them down below as well. A like on the video would of course be super appreciated, and for now I will speak to you next time. Goodbye!